Hello, my name is Tim, my company is Sports and Touring, and we are Jaguar F-Type specialists. With the second facelift, Jaguar altered the front end of the F-Type very considerably. They introduced narrower headlamps, which arguably might give a faster, more aerodynamic look to the car. They introduced a different chin-gill arrangement and a different front vent too. And all of those changes refreshed the car very much for the third decade of the 2000s. And at first I wasn't sure about this look, many people weren't, but as time has gone on, I've come to love the second facelift. I think it's a stunningly good-looking thing, and I've also come to really appreciate the 2-litre turbocharged P300 variant of the car. It's agile, it's pacey, it's rewarding to drive, and it is always a delight to bring one into stock, especially when it's a first edition like this, in gorgeous Eiger grey, with fabulous equipment on very low mileage and in genuinely stunningly good condition. I'm delighted to show you around. I've pointed out many times how Eiger grey works beautifully with the shape of the F-Type, especially with the bonnet, the power bulge there, running fore to aft on the bonnet, and those bonnet vents too. The light just sparkles around that part of the F-Type design in this beautiful grey shade. And this particular car, very well endowed with options on it. It has the design pack, front and rear splitters, and side skirts and side power vents, all there in technical grey with the Leaper logo you can see on the side of the car. Sitting on style 5102 alloy wheels, and these have been freshly refurbished. They are in perfect condition and looking stunning. We've put black centre caps on, by the way. You might prefer just a touch of colour, in which case we can offer you red centre caps there as an alternative. And as we pan down the side of the car, you can see again the paintwork here is just in utterly beautiful condition. This has obviously been a cherished weekend car. It hasn't been a daily driver. The mileage and history records show us that. At the back, we've got the deployable spoiler there in the down position at the moment, and with the Jaguar Leaper badge and logo there on top of it, and that beautiful chrome tailpipe nestling in the middle of the rear bumper and splitter arrangement too. Paintwork as we come round to the offside of the car, still absolutely gorgeous. No swirls, no marks to suggest that this has been through any of those awful mechanical car washes. It's clearly been diligently looked after. And as we come to an end of our tour of the outside of the car, I guess it's time to move on and inspect the cockpit. We'll supply the car, of course, with 2 remote key fobs and the owner's documentation. And in order to unlock, just tap the button on the fob, the power fold mirror deploys into position, the door handles pop out, and you can see, by the way, the puddle lights just under the doors there as well to help you getting in and out at night, and the Jaguar name inviting you in to this gorgeous cockpit. Looking around in detail, we'll start with the door card. You can see, I hope, that it's in stunningly good order. Beautiful lozenge leather in ebony with the contrast white ivory stitching running around the panels there too. Panning around, we can see the first edition tread plate there is in very fine order. And then these beautiful performance seats in ebony again with contrast stitching and that lovely lozenge effect around the shoulders, and the Leaper logo as well embossed into the headrest of the seat. Okay, sitting down into the F-Type, and I always point out that this is an environment that matches design and technology, art and science in equal measure. It's a beautiful place to sit. It's a very ergonomic place. The switches and controls and so on work very logically indeed. It's very easy to get to grips with. And it's enormously comfortable too. These seats are just very, very comfortable, and yet they restrain you sufficiently if you're manoeuvring the car aggressively and enthusiastically. The side bolsters are powerful enough to keep you where you need to be. Okay, taking a tour around, we've got a little stowage net there between the seats. And then we've got the armrest with a little cubby hole underneath with the micro SIM card for mobile data if you wish it, 2 USB sockets to power your electronics, and a 12-volt socket too. We've got the twin cup holders there with a little recess in the middle that takes one of those small drinks cans. And to explore further, we're going to fire up the turbocharged 2-litre engine. My foot is on the brake, my finger is on the start button, and you'll see the dashboard self-test and then come to life. And you'll see the centre air vent as well rise up into the operating position as we do so. There we are, a smooth thrumming sound from this beautiful 2-litre engine. The steering column moves down into the driving position there as well. And we can look around in detail and see on the centre console here we have the roof switch. We'll come back to that in a moment or three. Then we've got the Eco Stop Start Defeat button for the deployable rear spoiler. As I say that, by the way, the revs are dropping. The engine revs higher when it's cold in order to protect the catalytic converters, and it's just reached its initial operating temperature there, and therefore it's come down to its normal idle speed. Back to the switch for the spoiler there, and if I pan around we can see the spoiler come up and then disappear back into its stowage there. Very beautiful piece of design, but effective too in creating downforce when you're driving at speed. We've got the traction control off button and the button for the switch active sports exhaust, that valve in the exhaust which gives you a throatier note when you desire it. And here we've got the electronic parking brake with hill start assist, of course, and that pretty well takes care of itself. It releases as you drive off, and therefore doesn't need you to have your finger on the switch when you're starting the vehicle's motion. We've got the on-off button and volume control for the media, and then this beautiful shift stick. It really is such a splendid piece of design, very stylish and very comfortable to use as well. The hand fits it perfectly. Button on the front there, which you use to activate it, and then we pull back into drive like so. And if you wish, you can go sideways like that into sports mode. In sports mode you can shift up and down using the shift stick like so. I prefer to use the flappy paddles on the steering wheel because then you're in complete control of the car, but for old time's sake, why not take your hand down and shift up and down like that if you prefer. Rounding off the shift stick on the top there, we've got the P button to put the car into park, and that applies the parking brake as well. And then we've got the driving mode selector switch. At the moment we're in standard or vanilla driving mode. I can go forward into rain, ice and snow mode. That is enunciated there on the dashboard with a picture of an F-Type in snow, which I think is a lovely little design touch. Back down to the switch here, and we come back out of rain, ice and snow and then into dynamic or tutti frutti driving mode. You can see as I do that, the exhaust valves open as well, and that sets the car up for a more enthusiastic driving style. If you want to wring more pleasure out of the car, that is the mode to be in, along with sports gearbox. And this F-Type hustles along very satisfyingly indeed in dynamic and sports. Up to the climate control section here, we've got dual zone climate, of course, so passenger dials in his or her temperature and driver does so there. We've got the auto air conditioning timed recirculation. There's the hazard light switch, and then the front and rear demist and the electric front windscreen. So this is a windscreen with those tiny wires running through it, which clears so rapidly when you heat those up in the winter if there's ice around or a little bit of mist. Very effective indeed in getting the screen cleared quickly. And then each of the buttons for the seats, for the temperature rather, also dials in the seat heating and cooling. And what it is to come to a car on a hot day with black leather seats and press the button and dial in the full 3 stages of seat cooling, it really does make it very comfortable indeed. Okay, on to the infotainment screen, and always difficult to film this. The contrast really confuses the camera, but I'll take you through it quickly. You can also see it in our videos, in our still photographs rather, in the advertisement. Starting here with the home screen, and we can go left to the My Home page. Now this is where you can add your shortcuts, your widgets, to your particular choice. So, for example, your favourite radio station, an instruction to the sat-nav to drive you straight home and so forth. They can all populate this screen here. Back to the main home screen, and we access the navigation function here. There's no one signed into the account on the car at the moment, so when someone buys it, we'll assist them in getting set up and so forth appropriately, like so. But we can just tap the screen there and use the normal functions of the satellite navigation, like so. We go back to the home screen itself like that, and to the media screen, and here we have a number of sources accessible through the source button, radio, online media, and if we had a Bluetooth phone connected, it would have Bluetooth as well there, so that you can stream music via your phone. Okay, back here, and we've got, of course, Bluetooth telephony available, and then on the extra features screen you can see we access the climate, cameras, including the reversing camera, which is very crisp and clear. You can see that with the guidance lines as well that illustrate where the car is going to go. Makes reversing an absolute doddle. And back to the home screen and back to the extra features here to see that we've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Have a look at our photos again to see the screen with Apple CarPlay activated. It's crisp and clear, and it's such a wonderful thing having your mobile phone screen replicated on the car's infotainment screen. Is a very simple idea, but it's so effective in its execution. Okay, carrying on to the dashboard here, and you can see we've got the twin dial set up at the moment on the dashboard with the rev counter and speedometer. If we go into the menu here, we can go to display and layout and select the single dial, which gives us the option of a number of functions left and right. As it happens, we've got media on the left at the moment and navigation on the right. And finally, we've got a third layout option, which is full navigation or full map. And I'll show you that now. Very effective if you're driving, particularly in a city, to be able to look straight down and see the layout of streets around the car directly in front of you. I find very helpful indeed. Okay, we'll go back to the two dial layout there and exit that, so we get the lovely Jaguar picture there in the middle. By the way, you'll see on the left of the screen we've got a little warning light there for the tyre pressure monitoring system. We've just put these wheels onto the car and it needs to go for a drive for about 20 minutes or so, so that the sensors associate themselves with the vehicle system. That will take place in, as I say, about 20 minutes of driving when we next take it on the road. Okay, down to the steering wheel, and the left thumb cluster here has the infotainment buttons and Bluetooth telephony button. We've got the right stalk with the automatic headlamps, indicators and trip computer button. And on the right thumb cluster here, we've got the cruise control and active speed limiter and the heated steering wheel. Absolutely gorgeous in cold weather. Your hands are warmed through the moment that's selected on pretty well, and it makes driving in the cold such a pleasure. Down to the right hand stalk, and that is the rain sensitive wipers. And then if we look down here by my right knee, I hope that you can see we've got buttons for the boot release, lane keep assist. I'll just bring that into focus properly for you. Boot release, lane keep assist, rear fog light, and the dimmer for the instrument switches. And you can see as well, if you look right down there at the floor where my foot is on the brake pedal, we have the stainless steel pedals in this particular car with the Jaguar legend on them again. So sumptuously equipped, and I dare say as well in just beautiful condition. This cockpit is pretty well exactly as it left the factory. There are no marks, no blemishes, there's no wear to catch the eye. It really has been very splendidly looked after. Okay, it's a convertible, so we ought to examine the function of the convertible roof, and what I'm going to do is spin the camera around like so, and then I'll talk you through what I'm doing. So at the moment the roof is in the stowed position. I'm going to select it up, and you'll see the little flaps move out of the way so that the roof can travel up out of its stowage and forward over the cockpit and into position, and it latches fully automatically. There are no manual latches to operate. And having done that, the windows come up and you're ready to drive through the rain shower you've seen in front of you. If you want the roof down, it's very simple. Again, just press the button, hold it in the down position, the windows move out of the way, the roof stows itself into its enclosure, the little flaps come up to protect the sides of the roof, and then the windows come up again into position and you're ready for top-down motoring. I've always said there are a couple of really important things about convertible roofs. They've got to be simple and reliable, and this one definitely is, and they've got to be quick to operate, because when you're sitting at the traffic lights you don't have 20 minutes to wait for the roof to move up or down. You've got a few seconds, and this roof is exemplary in its speed of operation as well. Okay, we'll switch the engine off and take a look next in the boot. Now, I dare say that some journalists, and perhaps a Mr. Clarkson in particular, have been a little bit unkind about the F-Type convertible boot. Yes, I would have to agree, it isn't particularly large. But in fact, if you use the space sensibly, and the best way to do that is to get hold of one of the bespoke luggage kits for the F-Type convertible, which makes the best use of the space, with a bag that goes there towards the front of the boot, and there's a big space. That's a long way forward before you get to the end of the luggage space there. And then two bags that go here and here, and a third bag, or indeed third and fourth bag, that go there into the cubby hole under the boot floor. You really have a very effective way of making the best use. And I know people who've been on holiday for a couple of weeks in a convertible F-Type, doing something like the North Coast 500 or going down into Italy, and they've had no problem at all getting what they need into this space very comfortably, with a bit of room left for some wine and cheese to bring home, I would very much hope. Again, you can see inside the boot everything is perfectly in order. There are no nasty marks, blemishes, there are no odours either, no stains. It is in very fine condition. And we come round now to the passenger side of the car. Now we've got two-stage unlocking enabled on this vehicle, so I'll give the key a second tap, and that enables us to look at the passenger door card, which I dare say is perfect, and the tread plate, again with the first edition logo there in absolutely factory condition, and the dashboard, footwell, carpet and mat, centre console, and again this beautiful performance seat, all in exemplary order. Truly a wonderful example of the F-Type. And with the tour of the car so far complete, there's just one place to go, and that is under the bonnet. So there is the very sizable F-Type bonnet under which we find the power plant. 2 litres, straight 4-cylinder configuration, one of the Jaguar Ingenium series of engines, their latest engine series. And it develops 300 PS, just around 300 horsepower, and through the ZF gearbox, the 8-speed gearbox, that drives this F-Type from 0 to 60 in just 5.4 seconds, and onto a top speed which is artificially limited at 155 miles an hour. But I always pause at this point in our videos to say, this isn't a car which works around those numbers. This is a car which works around the feeling that you get there in the driver's seat, and the connection that it gives you between you and your hands and feet and your car and the road and your journey. And whether you're just going out for a pint of milk or coming down one of the beautiful alpine roads in the south of Europe, this car will just fill your journey with pleasure. It really does. It's such, I enjoy so much being around these every day and driving these every day. It's an absolute buzz, even when it is so routine. You can see this engine bay in very fine order, by the way, everything crisp and correct. There we can see that big turbocharger, which is responsible for the amount of power this engine puts out. Service history, Jaguar main dealer up until the most recent service, which was done at a very reputable independent Jaguar specialist. Everything is working perfectly as it should. I've driven this F-Type myself a considerable distance and loved every mile of it. It is running very sweetly indeed, and just waiting to please its next keeper. So thank you very much indeed for watching. It's been a huge pleasure to show you this beautiful F-Type. With Sports and Touring, we're just outside Andover in Hampshire, open 7 days a week by appointment only. You're very welcome to telephone, email or WhatsApp us if you've got any questions about this car, or if you'd like to see it either in person or by video call. It'll be a pleasure to send you a link to the Google Drive. That's our online folder with higher resolution photographs, which you can zoom in on, and PDF copies of important documents. If you've got a car to dispose of on your buying journey, we'll give you frank and honest advice about how to achieve the maximum value with the minimum inconvenience. And if you'd like to chat about finance, we can do that as well. We're authorised and regulated by the FCA, and we work with a really brilliant broker. Do please take a few moments to read our reviews in Auto Trader. I'm very proud indeed of the things that our previous customers say about us. And I'll close by saying thank you once more. Feel free to like and subscribe to us here on YouTube, and we will look forward to hearing from you very soon. Contact details are coming next.